Hello, everybody. This is Joe Harris from Morgan Financial. We're here for keeping your business on track. Today, I have a special guest, Megan Ross. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. Megan is the team lead of the Ross Group that is brokered by Denovo Realty right here in Eau Gallie. In the Eau Gallie Arts District.
Yep, close by, right around the corner.
And that's a recent move for you. What made you make the switch?
So I've been with Denovo now for about a year and a half.
Right.
And I will say that after being with my prior broker for a little over 8 years, it just kind of got to the point where I needed more support. I needed more systems. I was kind of sort of on my own island, as you will. And when Garrett approached me, a couple of years ago, it kind of took me a while to really come on over. But when I sat down with him and went over all of the systems, it was just a no-brainer.
Awesome.
It was just a really good move for my business to make that growth, to keep growing as an agent.
Cool. Well, that's a whole separate podcast.
Yeah,
today
let's
we're here
do
to talk. I've heard great things about Denovo and Garrett and what you all are doing over there. And it's great to have you in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, well, today we're talking about the importance of partnerships, right? Mm-hmm. So how important are partnerships to the growth and success of your business?
I think it's extremely important. I have clients all the time that, refer to myself and my partners as the dream team. And so I think it can truly make or break an experience for somebody that's buying or selling a house if you don't have those good partnerships and if you don't have those reliable people that make it a good experience all the way around.
So you mentioned the dream team. So partners, I guess a lot of people might think of partners in different ways. What do you consider to be a partner in your business?
So I have tons of them. I have lenders, title companies, I have painters, flooring people. just any aspect of the entire process of buying or selling a home. There's so many people that are in the background, behind the scenes, making sure that the whole process goes smooth.
Cool. So can you describe a partnership that significantly impacted your business and explain why it was so beneficial? Like maybe one of those partnerships that's made an impact to help you with your business.
Sure. I definitely have a couple of lenders, as well as a title company that I feel like has just, made it such a positive experience for my clients that, that's kind of how I maintain the referrals that I do and the repeat business that I get year after year because they have those good experiences. I have lenders that we're truly a team and we support each other and the communication is great and my clients experience that all the way around the transaction. So, they usually will come back to me, or refer me because of that.
Right. Every time we give a referral, it's like you take a little risk, but it's not a risk if you know the referral is going to take care of your client.
Right. Exactly.
And if you give the referral, it reflects on you.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I have a painter that, preps a lot of my listings because that's kind of one of the things that's important when you're getting a listing ready for the market. And, he even told me, he was kind of joking, but he was like, I push other clients for you because I give them so much business. And so, it's just that, for him, for that specific relationship, it's just knowing that I'm going to be able to get in timely. He's going to push some stuff around and get me in because he puts me and my clients first. So it's just that relationship that we have.
Cool. Well, that's important. We are in a relationship business. So let's say you have a partner that leaves the industry for whatever reason or leaves their field and you have an opening. How do you go about finding a new person to fill that void or fill that space?
Yeah, it's tough. And that's why, I typically have a couple of people that I trust that I partner with in each kind of category, if you will, so that, if somebody does leave the business, and it has happened, I've had a lender that I've worked with that has gone on, but I had a couple of others that I was working with as well. And so I just kind of fell back on them until somebody else, got into that role that I clicked with. Same thing with, insurance. I had a, really good insurance partner that I partnered with for a couple of years, and she got out of that business. And so I had to go find somebody else. So it's, it's ever changing, but, I always kind of make sure that I have different partnerships with various people
Cool. Yeah.
without spreading myself too thin.
Right. Yeah. You don't have too many of them
Yeah.
because then you don't give them enough business, and
Right,
then they're like, well, why would
exactly.
I,
Yeah,
jump the line to
100%.
paint that house, right?
Yep, exactly.
So you mentioned trust a couple times, and trust is is the foundation of a good relationship. So how do you for that new partner, how does trust build? I know in the lending business, sometimes we say we're only as good as our last loan, right? But how do you build that trust with your partners, and what role does that play in how you work with them?
I think trust is a huge thing. I mean, I need to be able to know that it's a two-way street and that it's not just a one-way street. And I've actually had that happen before where I've given somebody, a lot of business and they never gave anything back. And for me, at the end of the day, when I'm sitting there and looking at my ROI at the end of the year, and, that's probably not somebody that I'm going to continue to give a lot of business to, because the trust is important. It's also, important for me to know that when I give somebody my client, that they're going to take care of them the same way that I'm taking care of them.
Right. Yeah, you want to give a reflection of yourself.
Right.
You want to build that referral army because now you not only because you give them business, you expect something in return. It's
Exactly.
reciprocity in motion there.
Yep.
Can you talk about a time maybe a partner helped you overcome a significant challenge, and without that trust and without that relationship, maybe that wouldn't have been there. So really going into, you mentioned before a painter jumping your project ahead of someone else's. Do you have any other instances of that might be valuable or valid to talk about?
So, I mean, I most recently had a listing that I was trying to get ready for the market, and the tenants completely trashed it. Trashed it. And my client was an investor from California. He's never even laid eyes on the house. And he had a property management company out of Orlando handling it. And, they came in, gave him a quote for how much everything was going to cost to fix everything. And I had my people come in and give a quote. Well, my quote came in, maybe $3,000 or $4,000 higher than. Wow. There was like painting that needed. We had to completely do the floors, window busted out, screened. It was trashed, and so he ultimately ended up going with his property management company to do all of those repairs. And I went to check on it like a month later after all of the repairs were done.
Right.
It was not done. It was not done. It was like halfway done. It was crappy work, and I'm just like, oh gosh. So I had to pull my vendors together at the last minute and go in and save it basically and completely kind of redo what they had messed up, And so I definitely think that having those, and it's only so much I can do as, the agent. I can't force my clients to use somebody, but there's definitely been times where they haven't taken my advice and I'm like,
told you so. So you're saying the cheapest ended up being the most expensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, there's that phrase. What is it? Oh, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I tell people that all the time. You get what you pay for.
Now, in that regard, so you get what you pay for. We get that. But you have partners that you've had for a while, probably. Now, what would push a partner off your list? Is saying, at what point would you say, listen, that's not a good partnership for me?
Not being loyal.
Not being loyal.
No, that's kind of a big thing for me. It's, not only do I want you to take care of my clients, but I also need that loyalty to me, and I need to see something in return because it is a partnership. It is, and so I've definitely had somebody that I've, worked with before that did not reciprocate that. And, it's kind of like you just bit the hand that fed
Right.
you,
Sure.
know? So I would say that would kind of push me away from somebody, as well as dropping the ball. Dropping the ball with the client. And again, I'm not like, you mess up one time, you're fired.
Right.
But, if I see kind of like a pattern starting to happen, then yeah, it's probably going to be one of those that I kind of take a step back and I'm, going to be like, is this really the best person to keep moving forward with, because a lot of times I feel like people grow too big too fast, and then they start to like overextend themselves, and the quality just goes down a little bit.
Right. 'Cause at the end of the day, putting a smile on the client's face is what we're after. And if there's anything that
Yep.
impedes that, we talk about it here. We believe you build up a trust bank, right? And if you're just starting out a relationship, you're zero in the trust bank. But you start to do all these good things the trust bank builds, and then if there's a mistake made, because people, they make mistakes, right? It's not the mistake you make, it's how you make up for it or fix it or the steps you take to make it better. But that might deplete the trust bank. Now, if it doesn't go to zero, maybe that partnership continues.
Right.
But if you bring it past zero or negative, then it would be tough to keep it going.
Yeah.
So again, how do you gauge, or how do you take steps to make that partnership stronger or the communication better? Are there any things that you do in particular to keep that communication and that partnership strong?
I think just staying, in front of them and just having that relationship with the people that you're in business with. This is truly a relationship type industry.
Right.
And so I think that that's the only way to continue to build, is to nurture those relationships and be open and honest. I have people all the time that are calling me up, like lenders wanting to take me to lunch or something. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to waste your time. Like, I've already got my people, it's just, so I'm always very open and honest with all of the people that I do partnerships with.
Sure. Good. And, I believe in loyalty and trust as well. But if the partnership is going in the wrong direction, like you said, it might be time for a change, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and I have those conversations. I'm not the type that I'm just going to like drop you, you know. I'll have the conversation and I'll, be straight up honest with you. This is why I'm choosing to go in a different direction. And I hope you understand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, on that note,
so what advice would you give to maybe new agents or agents just forming their partnerships? What advice would you give to them out there about, partnerships and forming these alliances?
They got to get out there because, there's so many different personalities, and not everybody's going to click or fit with each other. You know, who I might click with, you might not click with, and so it's definitely going to be a trial and error. I have partnerships with, other people in this industry that I've had for years and years.
Right.
But then I've also had over the years partnerships come and go, just because it is very much so, we're kind of like dating. In a sense, like you're dating. You're like, is this going to work? I don't know, until you really find like the one that you're meant to be,
Sure. Yeah, no, good advice. You gotta dance before you date, and once you date, you gotta find the right one.
You gotta
kiss a lot of frogs. Cool. Thank you very much for being on today. I do have 3 pop questions. Okay.
Oh,
I didn't.
I wasn't prepared for this.
You weren't prepared, but I think you got this.
All right,
number 1, do you have a favorite movie?
A favorite movie?
Yeah.
I always go back to The Notebook. Notebook,
okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's the Sparks, right?
Yeah, it's a sappy, romantic love story.
Okay, fair enough. Do you have a favorite book or a book that you like?
Oh God, I don't really read that much.
That's okay. Podcasts?
No, you know what? I think it's called The Voice of the Heart or The Truth of the Heart. I read it recently.
Okay, cool.
It's either The Voice of the Heart or The Truth of the Heart.
Fair enough.
I did read that whole book.
Okay.
So I should know the title, but it's been a while.
All right, cool. And then finally, who's inspired you most?
In what way?
It's an open-ended question.
Oh, jeez.
It could be business, personal, family, relationship.
Who's inspired me the most? Is that bad that I don't have one person?
No.
I'm like, can I take this piece
You can take.
from this?
Go ahead.
So I would say that, obviously my parents, but not like one or the other. Like my dad ran a business, and so I learned a lot from him over the years, and he knows how to do everything. So we've flipped houses together. I've learned so much from him. Not the best with, being loving. So I feel like that I learned from my mom. So she's inspired. She's like the sweetest human on the face of the planet. She's pretty much a saint. So I feel like the mixture between the two of them, I would say,
Cool.
you know, I kind of got the best of both of them, I hope.
Nice. Good. That's all the questions I have. Thank you very much for joining
Thanks
us today.
for having me.
That was really good. I really enjoyed it. For those of you out there, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all these things. And we'll put contact for Megan on there as well. Hope to see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks.